And we're live.
July 24th.
Wow.
I can't believe we're
I know, it's already
March,
What year
April,
is
May,
it?
June, July. 5 months into COVID. I think it's 2020 still.
I don't even know. It's just been flying by.
Yeah, it's been a crazy, crazy year. One thing after another. And
We have a cool show today, so we're really excited. We have a couple guests here. I'm going to let Johnny introduce them, but
we only have one today.
huh? I can do it.
We only have one guest.
Before we get started, we love questions, so we want you to ask lots of questions. But today's show is based on a couple of agents, the Rockstar agents. So Katie's right next to me, and Katie Ann could not be here, by the way. Her doctor said that she needed to stay home. She had emergency surgery, but she is on the show.
It wasn't a COVID thing?
No, I don't believe it was COVID. But Katie Ann is here, so we will be able to talk with her through the Facebook group. She is here, and then Katie's here as well. So these are two Rockstar agents that have really been crushing it lately, and they're going to share their experience with you today and take your questions and things like that. So, but we do want your questions, so please ask tons of questions. And then, do we have any housekeeping things that we need to?
I'm going to start off with a bang today. I'm going to stir the pot.
Uh-oh.
Okay, stir it up.
Yeah, so we got all the housekeeping stuff that not. Relax, you're safe.
He said this was informal, so.
It is very informal.
All right, good deal.
All right, so I happened to be in California last week,
Oh yeah.
over in San Diego, and it was 45 degrees cooler, so it was so hard to get in the car and drive home. It
I
was,
bet.
It was just so awesome over
It was
there.
blazing
and,
hot here.
you know, I don't do that every year, but we try to get over there when we can. And so the whole COVID thing, and I know it's like, you can't talk about COVID, you can't talk about masks, so I'm not making a political statement here. I am in no way, shape, or form representing my home group with my statements right now. I'm just going to throw something out there for you. So after having multiple conversations with multiple people concerning COVID and the seriousness of it, some on the beach, there was actually people with masks on in the water. I'm like,
in the water?
They were allowing people in the water because I
In
knew
the
some of
water.
the beaches.
I saw guys
They were only
surfing with a
allowing people
mask
on
on.
sand.
No
Come on.
kidding.
Surfing with a mask on.
Is it waterproof?
Wow.
I hope so. Anyway, so here's where I'm at, and Katie and I chatted just for a second before we came on the air. So COVID's real. It's killing people. It's
Definitely close to
it's
home.
all that stuff. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Go out and work, don't go out and work. Go to the bars, don't go to the bars. All these are legit questions. So, and I'm not telling you what to do or how to make your decision on that, but here's what I'm going to tell you. You have to pick one or the other. Not politically, whether you believe it's political or that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you either believe COVID is going to stop your business or it's not. So once you make that determination, you got to stick with it and then go. So in other words, if you say, no, I don't feel safe taking people in my car. I don't feel safe, putting people in my car and taking them out and showing them homes. I don't feel safe, doing open houses or whatever your action or your sphere that you're doing. If you don't feel safe, then don't do it. I get it. Go with a different, modus operandi, or find something else. But if you do believe that you can do that, then do it and stop wondering. I'm talking to so many people that are, God, I don't know if I should or if I shouldn't, or make a decision and go for it. My decision was I never stopped. I mean, I chose to wear gloves and wear a mask and take disinfectant wipes with my clients and give it to each one of them and say, look, I'll go in, I'll open up every door, every cabinet, I'll turn on all the lights. You just do your thing, take a look at the house. If you want something open, either use this wipe and open it or call me and I'll do it. And then try to wipe the house down before you leave. And, so there's precautions you can take and there's actions that you can take one way or the other. So my choice was to continue doing my job.
It's great that you pointed that out because I literally just had this conversation day before yesterday with an agent that has I really need to get going again. I've just been worried about this, and we talked about that very thing. And I said, she asked, are people still doing open houses? And I'm like, yeah. there's agents out there doing open houses, and I said, of course, they're taking precautions, like you just said, wearing gloves or wearing a mask and keeping the house wiped down or setting appointments. So there's a couple different ways I share with her that people are doing it. Like we talked about the virtual open house, a few episodes back, and where you still set up the signs, you still market the open house, but in the yard you have a sign that says, text this number to this to get a virtual tour, and they would get a virtual tour of it, and then they could actually set an appointment. Or your route, which is where you could be in the open house with the mask on and the gloves, and then be able to show people by appointment that way and do it. But so it's great that you brought that up, because you're right. If you're going to work, you need to work. Just take the proper precautions and things to keep your business going.
So I think a whole bunch of people, and Katie and I talked a little bit
Yeah.
at the beginning of this whole thing. I think there was a lot of people that working from home created a huge challenge. They're just not, it's hard to do. I mean, I've done it for 36 years, worked out of my house or worked for myself, so it was no big deal, no big change to me. But it's a challenge to people. I feel like taking a nap, or I got a lot of stuff done. I think I'll go out and clean the pool, or do some landscape, or whatever, garden, whatever. It's a tough deal to do. So my point that I'm trying to make today is pick your path. Pick your path. You're either a working realtor or you're not. And the fact that things are different should not be stopping everybody. Case in point, I talked to Anthony Penna the other day from Lawyer's Title, my partner in crime and Lawyer's Title. I'm always promoting them because they're so good at what they do. But he brought statistics in. I mean, he's actually got numbers. The Cromford report is showing numbers. Business is at an all-time high. They had their record month last month. Record month in the middle of COVID. So, bullshit excuses are just what they are. They're just bullshit excuses. Go out and go to work. Find a way to do it.
Yeah, one more thing I want to add that we talked about just before the show is I feel like agents right now are either super busy or they're super slow. And I think what it comes back to is their mentality and how they're taking the situation. And I'll be the first one to say I was super slow at the beginning of COVID because my mentality wasn't there. I just thought it was going to be a little break. I didn't know it was going to be lasting as long as it is. Obviously, I don't think any of us did. But once I was able to switch my mentality and really get back into work mode, business has been booming again. Business is really good because I totally changed, my mental state.
It's a mindset.
So it really is.
It is. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
And here's perfect proof. Young lady, relatively new in the business, just decided, okay, I'm working, and look at the difference. Mm-hmm. So you can literally, there's an on and off switch. You can either be on or off. Make your decision. So if you want to talk about that more, please throw in questions. Call me. Call Mike. Yesterday I also got to spend a little time with Mark and Jeremy. It was so cool. They were in the office yesterday, and it's been 5 months. It was awesome having those guys in the office, even though it was just temporary because they had some meetings and stuff, and Andrew was here, and but just that feeling of
camaraderie, everybody's back in.
Just like the old days. It was like the old days were only 6 months ago. It's like it was just cool, and there was a buzz in here yesterday, and that's why I'm bringing this stuff up today. It's that buzz. You can create that buzz yourself. It doesn't have to be, oh God, it's COVID, and whether you believe COVID's going to be over the day after the election, which I kind of do, but but it is what it is. So make your adjustment and move on. So with that said, let's introduce Katie.
Yes.
Katie Henderson, correct?
Katie Henderson, that's right.
And Katie, how long first tell us a little bit about you, your path to the real estate business, from Arizona, where you're from. Give us the whole story.
I am an Arizona native, born and raised. I actually live in the same neighborhood I grew up in, not the same house, but the same neighborhood. So North Phoenix is kind of my area. I
is there like a gang sign for that? NP? Or
North Phoenix? All kinds of words. Yeah. North Phoenix. So went to high school here, went to
Where'd you go to high school?
Bear Down. I went to Paradise Valley.
Whatever. Okay, go ahead.
Not the town of Paradise Valley. Paradise Valley High School is very different.
On Bell Road, right? Way different, yeah.
40th Street in Bell.
Yeah.
Yep. 40 block is what they called it. So then I went to U of A, graduated from there with a degree in family studies and human development, Wildcat Bear Down. I was a cheerleader there. So I actually do a lot of business with people from Tucson now too, which is, I kept those relationships, which is.
When did you graduate from U of A?
Well, I did a victory lap. I should have graduated in 2014, but since I was a cheerleader and I didn't cheer my freshman year, I wanted to fulfill 4 years of being a college athlete. So I graduated at 15.
Oh, okay. You didn't know a kid named Joey Mandros, did you?
It doesn't sound familiar. How would I?
My
It's a
son
big
went
school.
there. My
It's a big
son
school.
went
Oh,
there.
that's your son.
But isn't it like 70,000 people?
It's a
Yeah.
big school.
It was Desert Mountain South, basically.
Okay.
His
Yeah,
entire class.
exactly,
went to
yep.
UVA, so,
So graduated from college and was kind of lost, didn't really know what to do with my family studies and human development degree. And I had my resume posted online. But somebody reached out to me to get into mortgages. And I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. They paid for my licensing. They gave me a salary for the first year, and then they showed me the income potential after the salary. So that was pretty attractive. And when I was serving in college, I served all through college, a couple people started getting their real estate license. So I said, hey, this is an industry I was kind of interested in the past. I'm really good at numbers, super good at math. Maybe this would be a cool side of the business for me to stand out in. So I did mortgages for about 1.5 years. And that was really fun here at OnQ Financial, right across the street from here. I was on a team there, a high-producing team. So a lot of volume, a lot of experience, but I was just in the office all day long. And I was sold on, once you can create your own team, you can be out and about, and you can be meeting face-to-face with people. And that was kind of a 5 or 10 year plan, whereas I was wanting to be out and about with people day one.
Now, right.
Exactly. So I was helping a lot of the agents with their open houses. I was helping them with home tours. I was helping them do all of the things that I thought I would be a much better fit for. So after 1.5 years of being in the mortgage business, I went to the 9-day crash course of real estate school, got my real estate license. And here I am 3 years later, still hanging in there. So kind of just stumbled into the real estate thing, but I've never looked back. It's been awesome.
So let me ask you this. So what was it about lending that you didn't like? That it was just an office job? No.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is people interactions. I have a huge personality. I love being around people. I love being out and about. I don't like being in an office all day just crunching numbers behind a computer. There's definitely a time and a place for that in real estate. It's very analytical. But I get to be out and seeing people and, like I said, just face to face with clients. I was a cheerleader in college, I was always doing events and things like that, and that's just what I like, meeting my people rather than just being on the phone and behind an email all the time.
You seem so quiet to me, I can't really.
And I'm camera shy, so this is about a fraction of my personality.
So I had a similar path where I did mortgages before.
You were a cheerleader?
No. They tried to throw me up and everybody broke their legs to pick me up. But it served me well being in lending, and then I was in title, and then I became a realtor. Because you understand
Super
lending,
helpful.
so you can really talk the talk
Right.
with your clients, and that bodes very, very
It's
well. Knowledge
really,
is power.
Exactly. And a lot of agents, they don't understand how to qualify a good lender. So being a listing agent, for an example, I'm calling all my lenders that are, for all the 14 offers that I had last weekend on one of my listings, I'm calling all of them and I'm vetting out to see who's actually a qualified lender, who's already ran the automated underwriting, who's got a strong pre-qualification. Okay, I know it says they need concessions on the pre-qual, but do they really? So just asking all of those questions because, we're so familiar with the back end and how that really
It's a really boost for agents that have had mortgage background, because it does really help you throughout that process.
The other thing too is when you've been a lender, when you're talking to clients, it's really different when you tell them, look, your lender is working for you. If they call you and ask for documents, 24 hours, get them to them.
Yep.
I don't care if you've gotten it to them 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
If they ask you for it, they need it again.
Right.
And my lender partner, Jim Zabo, loves when I'm telling people, look, when he calls you, you got to get this to him right, because how frustrating is it
Yeah.
when you're trying to get a loan done and you're like, you sent me 4 pages of 5 on your bank statement,
Mhm.
but the last page was blank.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They need
It's
it.
got a number on it,
Yep.
and I gotta have that. Little stuff like that.
Yeah,
Good for
absolutely.
you. Good for you.
Yeah,
it's
thank
awesome.
you. No, it's definitely been helpful. I'm glad I had my mortgage experience and I worked for a great team and still keep that relationship now.
So how did you find my home group?
Whew, how did I find my home group? I tried to partner with another agent, which didn't work out, which is totally fine. No hard
Here
feelings.
or something?
He was with a different brokerage and I was with Keller Williams for about a week.
Sorry,
and so
we don't normally swear on
it was
this.
about a week, and that's all it lasted. So he wanted to partner up with me, and he was like, hey, I know some great people over at my home group. And so I came in and I interviewed with Mark and Jeremy, and I was like, this is the coolest place ever. How
I remember that when you came in.
Yeah, oh really? Wow, that's awesome. 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. So yeah, he and I came in, we interviewed, and I knew the commission splits were really fair. I knew that the camaraderie was everything I needed, and the education is the piece that really sold me, because I love learning, I love education, and I still take advantage of the classes, multiple times a month, I would say. And I just feel like there's always things changing in our business, so it's important for us to stay on top of it. And just the people were great, honestly.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times people tell me that really the selling point of my home group was the culture. It's just everybody's helping everybody. It's not like, well, I'll help you with, but it's going to cost you 30%, or it's like, yeah, it's just not
Right.
that way. There's so many people here to help. Do you find that to be true?
I think that the masterminds that we were doing prior to COVID, obviously, those were awesome, because those are real life situations of the real struggles that agents are going through. And you've got, people that have been in the business for so much longer, and then you have people that are millennials that are maybe a little bit better at technology. We have people from different demographics that all specialize in different things. And that's one of the things that sold me on real estate too, is that there's no cookie cutter way to be successful. There's so many different avenues and so many different paths that you can take, and so you've got everybody wanting to help you, and you just choose which path makes sense for you.
You just said
Exactly right.
You just said one of the smartest things I've heard an agent say. So seriously, you took advantage of all of the knowledge. We call this the senior wing.
Mm-hmm.
We're upstairs, by the way, at the corporate office in the studio in the back, and you have to walk through the senior wing to get here. There's more knowledge in this hallway with everybody. We call it the senior wing because we're all 50 or above. So,
Right.
I mean, there's more knowledge in this hallway than hallways everywhere. I mean,
It would be
it's
foolish
amazing.
to not take advantage of all the years of, the people that have been in the office, so.
Yeah, these guys are so good in this senior wing, but they're so good about hearing. A lot of agents like to sit in that bullpen area out there, and they like listen to what's going on out there, and they'll come out if they hear something and say,
Yeah.
you should think about doing it this way. So they're really good about doing that. So, but as a company as a whole, the company is like that. So
Right.
even downstairs we do that. So we're
Yeah, I'm not,
everyone's available.
Yeah, I'm not saying downstairs is a bad place to hang out. I'm just saying, so
Well,
I
the
You
whole
just
company's
listen.
like
I
that.
think
Yeah,
the
it's a
opportunity
little-
to just
yeah.
sit back and listen to how people are negotiating over the phone. What questions are they calling and asking the listing agent before they write up their offer? How are they pulling comps? What are they looking at for this? It's just, even if it's subliminal, I think just being in that environment is helpful. So I work from home a lot now, but I would come in the office before and I would just listen, and you pick up on little things, you pick up on ways that people
So
can
awesome.
sell. And once again, a lot of it's subliminal, but I think it's helped me a ton.
It goes right back to what I always say, and that's knowledge is power. I don't care, even if it's just knowing how to turn these cameras on. It's knowledge. It's someday, somewhere, that knowledge is going to come in handy. Good on you. That's awesome. And I can tell you 4 or 5 agents that were brand new that came in and said hello or whatever. And I said, hang out here. Just listen. Even if bring your Crayola and your coloring book and stay out there and color if you have to. But sit there and listen to what's going on up here,
Right.
because there's so much stuff happening up here.
And real estate's a crazy business too, where no transaction's ever the same, but you see the same kind of pitfalls happen. So you also learn, it's a minefield. There's always so many things that can go wrong in the real estate transaction. What are the things that are going wrong consistently? Appraisal issues, lending issues, anything in the transaction, things that are happening, that can just be easily avoided if we're more proactive.
So 3 years ago, you got your license. Tell us what happened next. How'd you get business? What'd you do?
Well, first year was a little rocky. It was tough. I would say I got about 6 months into the business, and I was like, all right, I've only closed 1 sale. What do I do? I thought I was going to drop out, and then my ego got to me, and I was like, all right, I can make this work. So I did join a team for a little while. I was on a team for about a year. Here. Yep. I needed the confidence. I needed some deals under my belt to get going. And I knew that I needed that.
Smart.
So I was serving at a restaurant again, which, was another shock to my ego. But that was just to help supplement income. And then I told myself, all right, once I have this much saved up, I'm quitting the restaurant and I'm going time and a half into real estate. So that's what I did. And then I was on the team for, like I said, about a year. And then I got to the point where I was starting to get people that I knew Being an Arizona native, people I knew I was in real estate. And I said, all right, well, where's my team spending the money? Where could I spend the money? I'm still getting the outside referrals from people that I know. I think I might be able to do this on my own. So it did take me to get on a team. If I didn't join a team, I probably would not still be in real estate, quite honestly. It really did help me to get going. Confidence is everything for me. If I'm confident, you'll know it. If I'm not confident, you'll definitely know it. So, who's going to trust you with $300,000, $1 million home if they feel like you're not confident in yourself? So I knew I needed the experience, and I knew I wasn't going to get the experience if I didn't know where to spend my money that I didn't have. So the team is really a saving grace for me.
They can be a great launching pad. I mean, teams can be a great launching pad.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I highly
Some
recommend
people
it.
can be on a team for the rest of their life, and that's fantastic. For me, I knew I just needed maybe a year just to get the structure down, because you get into real estate, and there's, like we talked about earlier, there's so many paths you can take. How do you find which one works for you? How do I know where to spend my marketing dollars if I've never done it before? Am I going to be good at open houses? Am I going to be good at cold calling? Am I going to be good at Zillow leads? So to have that kind of security blanket of somebody else paying for, your marketing and your leads and everything is definitely helpful. And then once again, getting their structure, kind of figure out what works for you.
If I took every real estate deal that I did, I can't think of a single time that I didn't learn something from that deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of deals. You learn, they're never the same. They're never
Right.
ever the same. So ultimately what you did is you invested in yourself by giving up 30% or whatever that split was with the team. So that's what you paid for the knowledge that you have today. That's a great investment.
Right.
You can't invest in anything more than yourself. You can invest in a bank, you can invest in real estate, but you invested in yourself purely for knowledge.
Yep, absolutely. And I knew, being in mortgages, I knew the business, but also being in mortgages, I knew what I didn't know, whereas I think a lot of agents come in, they don't know what they don't know, and so they can be super successful. But me already being in the business, I'm like, well, what about this? What happens if this happens? What happens if this happens? So I was a little bit timid, there's so much that I don't know. So it was valuable for me to get that experience.
So smart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So smart.
Talk a little bit about the direction you decided to take, because like you mentioned, there are a lot of avenues in real estate. So you've done the team. You've now just made the decision to go on your own. So walk us through a little bit about what your business is about. Are you doing open houses? Are you doing leads? Or what are you doing?
I wish I did more open houses. That's something that I just need to get better at. But for the most part, when I was on the team, they were buying a lot of leads online. And so that was something that I convert at a really high rate. So I knew I was good at that. So that was immediately what I went to from day one. I said, all right, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars for this many months. And then once I start converting, I can start spending more. So I still do buy leads just because I'm new enough in the business, 3 years, that I'm starting to get referrals, but it's not as much as I would prefer right now. So definitely still buying leads, which is eventually my mentality once again with that is, I'll get to a point where I can fade away from that. I'm also part of an exclusive networking group, BNI, if you guys have heard of it, which has been fantastic for my business. It's limited to one professional per industry. We meet once a week. We exchange referrals, and that's been awesome for my business as well.
How'd you find the BNI?
It was a group, actually my sister's in the group, but somebody else in the group let me know that there was an opening for the realtor position. So it was a newer group, and BNI, the realtor position is the #1 hardest position to get in any group, and I knew that. I actually tried to start my own BNI when I was in mortgages.
Unsuccessfully?
Yeah, I was actually leading the group. We got to about 15 members where we were going to launch, and then it was the holidays, and a handful of them went out of town, and then it didn't end up launching. So then I gave up mortgages once again, and then got into the real estate business. So I was competing. There were probably 30 to 40 agents I was competing against for the realtor position when that opening became available, and I got selected. So I was super excited about that, but I was probably the newest one in the group. Everybody else had 20 years of business, so how I set myself apart was, hey, I'm still developing relationships. I'm going to be a lot more open-minded to use the handyman in the group, or the roofer in the group, or the home inspector in the group. I don't have these connections, and I sold $8 million in sales last year, so I'm on my way up and up. I'm not going to be the highest producing agent in the group, but I'm definitely growing, and I'm going to be open-minded to, you know, the relationships that I can build. And so, yeah, B&I's been great.
Right. Yeah, I was part of B&I for 2 years, so, but it is a great format. I mean, basically, you know, we talk about building your power partners, right? That's what B&I does. B&I actually has all your power partners, so the roofer, the electrician, the plumber.
Right.
There's only one person per field, and you just refer to each other. But we talk about building our own, you know, doing it that way. So
it's important
it
to
is
have
a great
people that you
organization.
trust too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So B&I, they encourage you to use everybody in the group. You know who you want to work with and who you can trust with your business, because that's your reputation at the end of the day. You know, I don't want to send business to somebody that I'm not confident in. If they're not going to answer their phone, or if they're not going to, you know.
Well, I like the concept of it because the whole idea behind it is that everybody's trying to help each other build their business. So it's all about referrals, giving referrals,
Yeah.
right? So
Givers
yeah, it's a
Lane.
good organization. So so it sounds like you're doing lead generation, which is you're paying for them leads, and doing conversion. You're part of the networking group as well, and doing some open houses here and there.
Yeah, open houses here and there. I would say social media has helped me tremendously, and I'm a very subliminal social media kind of marketing type gal. I don't really post all the new listings I have. I don't post all the closings I go to. I post stuff more like, oh my gosh, I'm showing this house. Can you believe what I just saw in the toilet? Or guess how much this house cost?
Attention,
It's
apparently.
stuff that I
That's awesome,
have gotten business from my social media from people that I went to preschool with, middle school with, high school with, college with. This morning I just showed $1 million property to one of my old neighbors that I didn't even know remembered who I was. So it's just very subliminal, but also pretty strategic on how I use my social media. And once again, a lot of people will tell you have to be posting, I don't know, more educational. They tell you what you have to do, but for me, it's like, no, I think I found what works for me, and probably about a third of my business comes from social media.
Because it found what works for you, and a lot of agents don't really get that. They think they have to post a certain type of post,
Right.
You know, consistently. Whereas it's fine what does work for you, and start utilizing it. Start doing that more often. Would you agree that it's consistency though is what wins?
Consistency,
right?
for sure. I absolutely think you have to be consistent in posting. Doesn't have to be the same content over and over again, but you have to consistently drip. Actually, just yesterday, I helped a rental last year, and I just met with him yesterday. He wants to purchase a $700,000 home now, you know, so I add him on Facebook after I help him with the rental, and of course I'm very mindful about what I post on my social media, but I'm still authentic, and I'm still me, and I'm genuine. Post a lot about me, you know, flipping and tumbling. I post about my nephew and my family, and then I sneak my real estate stuff in here, and you know, I get attention from it. So
What social media do you use? Instagram, Facebook?
all the above: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. No, not so much Twitter. I mean, I used to more. I got on the, I want to call it Vine. What is it? TikTok? So I do intend to do more.
He's like, what? What's TikTok?
Don't worry. It's
I'm
a video
on
platform.
Insta pictures,
It's a
Snapchat,
FaceChat.
Snap, Face Google.
I do intend to do more educational videos, but I think I need a totally separate account for that, because the people that follow me know that I have a goofy personality, and they don't want the, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell, salesman. They know that's not my personality, and they don't want to be sold, and I know that because they've told me. And so I would create a totally separate account for that. But like I said, I've been meaning to do, you know, more educational videos. I did one. It was like a 10-minute video on a market update when COVID first started, and I got 2 listing appointments from it.
Wow. Well, the
I'm
consistency.
floored right now.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed.
Really? Thanks.
Yeah, no, I'm
Thanks.
really, really impressed.
Thank you.
So you have something that takes most people years to figure out. You know, you have a plan. You got a plan, and stick to it, because it's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm so impressed.
And
Thank
you said
you.
something important, because you said that, you know, people don't want to be sold.
Right.
So, and it's all about being you, being genuine, you know, and I think that's important for every agent to understand is don't try to sell. This is not a sales business. This is a relationship-based business, and that's exactly what you've just been talking about, is all those relationships, keeping up with the relationships, reaching out to those relationships and building that relationship. building that trust, right? So it's super impressive.
So I've been a dad and a coach. I've been a dad for 20 some years and a coach for 20. And I'm gonna tell you something on this program that's gonna be. Somebody mark this
Take
down.
notes.
Somebody mark this down.
All right.
So what's gonna happen to you is you're gonna end up having a team and teaching this stuff to other people because you believe in it, and you're one of the most authentic people that I think we've had on here. You're you, and you get it, and you get what's you, and you're capitalizing on that, and you spent the time to get knowledge. So what you're doing, I want you to remember this, me telling you this, because sooner than later, there's going to be people coming to you saying, "Hey, would you help me?"
Right.
Okay, and that's coming. So
And I have had that, which has been super flattering.
let me give you some advice on
Yeah,
that.
I'm listening.
So I've done the team thing on multiple different levels, and it's difficult.
Sure.
And here's the hard part about having a team. And we have 40 teams?
Oh, almost 50 teams.
50 teams. So there's a lot to choose from. But here's the thing with a team, especially being the leader of a team. So anybody out there that's thinking about going on a team, Mike's the guy to get a hold of because he can tell you all the different teams and kind of how they fit. And
We're actually going to have teams on the show next week, so we're going to be talking about that next week.
so here's what I'll tell you. If you decide to do that, which you will, I can already tell your enthusiasm and your authenticity it's infectious, and people are going to want part of that. Only take people that fit your mold.
Sure.
That's my advice to you.
Yep.
Because you can't make someone like you. So my biggest problem with teams was we'd have a meeting on Monday, and I'd say, "Okay, how'd your open house week go?" I didn't do it. Well, why not? Well,
Yeah.
you know, I had a thing on Saturday night, and and to me, it's like 40 hours a week.
How much else do I have to give you?
40 hours
teach
a
the
week.
skill, but you can't teach the will.
You can't
right?
teach the work. You can't teach
Yep.
work ethic. So my advice to you and anybody else that's in this situation, try to be with like people. So if you're looking for a team, try to find a team that's like you. And I'm telling you, mark my words, there will be people coming to you saying, "Hey, I want to do what you're doing." And at a certain point, you will do that, and you'll make money off of it, and you're gonna rise. And this is an old guy that's been seeing a lot of stuff. It's gonna happen. So concentrate on people like-minded.
Sure.
Like work ethic. My big thing was work ethic. I worked 70 hours a week. I don't expect anybody to keep up with me because I'm a workaholic or whatever. I mean, I do what I do, but 40 hours a week is not.
Right.
I mean, that's just kind of working to me. I mean,
Yeah,
if
no,
you're not-
absolutely. It's
if you're not
all
putting-
day, all
yeah.
night, 8 p.m., 4 a.m. I've gotten messages at 4 a.m. and I respond back immediately,
Yeah.
which I mean is questionable.
And your
But
weekend is
that's
like-
one of the things because I always ask my clients for reviews after the fact, and I always go back and I'm like, what's my value add? And I always go back and I try to find what are the consistencies, like what is my value add? And one of the things that comes up time and time again is she's always available, she's a great communicator, and she's very professional, and she knows the mortgage business. That's been pretty consistently those 4 things on just about all of my reviews that I've done.
I got another question for you to add
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
When you're done with that, where in the transaction was there anywhere in the transaction that I didn't excel?
Right.
Because I'm always trying to
Yeah,
get better.
I should. You're
and,
absolutely
and they'll
right.
tell you.
Yeah.
They'll tell and tell them, don't be afraid. This is only going to help me because you're going to start referring your friends.
Right.
And your brother, sister, aunt, uncle, neighbor, cousin. You want me to do as good a job as I did with you, and maybe even better. So tell me, where can I improve?
It's one of my favorite
Right.
questions to
That's the
ask at
question
the
you
end of a
ask. Yeah.
transaction, any transaction. Well, when I was in the loan business, even the real estate business, whenever we closed the transaction, I really enjoyed working with you throughout this transaction. I'm always looking to improve on how I do business. Is there anything I could have done better? Is there anything that you saw through the transaction that would make me better? And so I like to ask that at the end of the transaction so that I can build upon that. So.
And I think that shows that you care about your business too. I totally agree. I should be adding that. It cares that you want to do the best job for your clients and you don't just have commission breath. You're not just chasing after the next deal. You want to actually have a quality experience.
Yeah, people sniff that out.
Yeah.
If you're chasing commissions, people sniff it out.
Right.
I try to tell people right up front, look, I'm doing just fine.
Right.
I don't have to have the commission from this deal. I'm going to find you the best house. If we find a house and I don't think it's the right one for you, I'm gonna tell you, and if that's not what you're looking for, I might not be the right realtor for you. I'm a really direct, you know, you might have issues with road noise here. Why, I don't hear anything. Take a look at what road is. Let me show you on the map. You know, point stuff out, and then if they can overcome that, then at the end of the deal, they're gonna be saying, man, Johnny covered everything. We're totally comfortable with what we decided on, thanks to Johnny's expertise and stuff that he brought up. Some people don't want you to do that.
Right.
It's a fine line. You know, I ask people right up front. So I do a lot of relocation business. So I'll pick people up at their hotel or wherever, and I'll say, okay, here's our day. As we drive, I'm just going to talk. I'm going to tell you what happened over here several years ago, or there was a big storm, and everybody in this area got hail damage, and they all got new roofs, and you know, stuff like that you know from being here. I can either do that, or I can just be quiet. You know, it's totally up to you. 99% of the people are like, no, just talk.
I heard another agent talk about, you know, when she's going through the house and maybe it backs up to a busy street or something. And she says, when she has a client, she tells them that the first thing, and she says, I don't want it to be the first thing I don't want it to be the first time that you hear this when we turn around to sell your home in 5 years. So she's already kind of plotting that, you know, when you sell your home, I'm going to be your agent as well. So it's important for the, you know, of course, for the consumer to make informed decisions, and giving them all the information that they need, and then letting them make that decision. Because I think we all know at this point, you can't sell a home. If the person likes the home, they're either going to buy it or they're not. You just sell the relationship, and you sell your value, and then they'll choose to work with you.
Pick out what the objections are going to be, and overcome them right off the bat.
Right.
Like when I do open houses, if I'm backed up to a busy street, I'm going to tell people, let's cover the white elephant in the room. Shay is right there. Let's discuss that first, because if that's an issue, the rest of the house doesn't matter. So let's discuss that right up front.
Right.
And the other thing you just did is key too, and it's a sign of a very, very experienced salesperson. You don't even know it. But what you just did when you said, and when you go to sell your house, I would change one thing. And I would tell them, look at, when we go to sell this house in 5 years or 10 years, that could be an issue. So let's make sure we cover that.
Sure.
Put yourself in there, because you're in there. You're already in the group. So I'll tell you something else that you would do that I do. Not a lot of people would do this. So when I do open houses, lots of different ways to do open houses. Everybody's got their own.
Right.
I knock doors after the open house.
Okay.
Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
So I keep a list of all the people that come.
Okay.
And then I go knock on the doors of 10 across the street, 5 this way, 5 this way. And I just knock and I say, guys, I just did the open house up the street. I hope the traffic wasn't bad for you or anything. But I had 18 people come through.
Oh, okay.
You know, 14 other people, this just wasn't the right thing for them, or, you know, they're not sold on the neighborhood, but these 4 people are totally interested in this neighborhood. They want to be in this subdivision.
Right.
If you or anybody you know in the area, and I'm sure you know the neighbors, had any inkling of listing your home, I got 4 people looking in here. I'm not selling anything. I'm just telling you this is what's going on. And they'll say, yeah, come on in, I want to talk about it. I can't. I have to finish knocking those guys and these, but I can come back in, how about I come back in 25 minutes? Do you have any beer? Seriously.
I know. I brought tequila to an open house once.
Do you have a cold
and I made a
beer?
video about it.
Do you have a cold beer? Or do you have some Jameson? Yeah, great. I'll be back. Have a cold beer waiting for me, and we'll sit down.
And Jameson?
So what happens? Well, you know, I'm not everybody drinks. But what just happened? I just became a family friend. They're inviting me in their home to drink with them.
Sure.
So who do you invite your home to have a cocktail? Your friend.
Somebody you trust? Yeah,
you just
absolutely.
knocked down a huge wall of some realtor sales guy that's trying. No, I'm not. I'm just here to give you information.
Right.
You know, and in the meantime, you real quick go on RPR.
Oh, sure.
And find out, you know, I don't know exactly, but I think your house is worth like $578, somewhere in that area. What did you think it was worth? Well, we thought it was worth, you know, something. Or I'll ask, what do you think your house is worth first? And I'll say, let me show you what I think.
Right.
You would be amazed how many listings you'll get from open. I don't do open houses to get buyers.
Right.
I do them to get listings.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
That's smart.
Yeah,
I
no,
really
it's a
like
great-
that idea.
And you got the personality to pull that off.
I don't mind door knocking. I've actually only gone door knocking, I think, like twice, but both of them were successful.
You wanna
so
know when
I
it's
don't mind
best?
it at all. I just
Yeah. You
don't
want to know
do
when it's
it.
best? When it's hot. Because if you knock on
People
the door and say,
know you guys.
yeah, I'm just finishing up and have a little.
So when it's
Do you want a
hot,
cup
do you have a
of
cold
water?
beer or Jameson?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Yeah.
Tell people, geez, you really, do you want a bottle of water? Oh, that'd be great. Thank you. Never
Right.
turn down a bottle of water.
Sure.
Say, yeah, sure. thanks. And I just wanted to let you know why I stopped by. Thank you so much. It's so hot.
Uh-huh.
Then people are like, man, this girl is, it's 115 degrees, and she just knocked on my door. She's either deranged, a moron, or she's really good at what she does. Guess what? People are going to go with she's really good at what she does.
Right.
So you can't teach that. That's the thing, though. So, so everybody, the Zig Ziglar, thing that I can turn anybody into a salesperson. I don't buy that for a second. I really don't. I can turn somebody into a great order taker, but salesmanship starts when the client says no. No, thank you. Now you got to convince them to turn around. Now it becomes a salesman. You're a born salesperson.
Thank you.
Born that way.
Thank you.
You got the smile, you got the smarts, man, I'm impressed, man. This is great.
I appreciate that.
I'm so impressed.
Are we recording this? Can I keep this for later? Anytime I'm having a bad day, I just go back and watch it.
No, I'm thinking about what it is we're doing. We don't need to.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to. I know Katie Ann's on the.
She did say she was on
Facebook group as well. So I'm going to give you just a little bit on Katie Ann. Hopefully, Katie Ann, you can go ahead and just type in a little bit of your background and some information and all that stuff. But Katie Ann is just maybe just a year and a half or less in the business.
And she has a name that nobody can pronounce.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I can pronounce the last name, but
I got it written down, but
yeah.
I'm not even going to try.
We could give it a shot, but
Krasienescu.
That's better than I would say it. So I'm not even sure, but Katie Ann, you can maybe share a little bit of your experience on Facebook for everyone that's out there. But I will tell you,
she's laughing at us.
She's laughing at us. I will tell you this much, though. She has been doing just amazing. I remember chatting with her. I teach a business development class. That's for agents that are either just trying to refresh or really get going in the business. And I remember talking to her after that class. She's like, I'm ready to go. She has been crushing it ever since then. Just her last 2 months, she has done over 1.29 million in the last 2 months. So just incredible amount of business that she's out there doing. So Katie Ann, if you could share with everybody just a little bit about you and even what you're doing right now. So I know she does open houses and all that stuff. So if you could share that with everybody.
Okay, while we're waiting for her response, I do want to point out that Major League Baseball has started, and the Cubs have not won yet, and the White Sox have not lost yet. I just want to throw that out, just in case anybody was wondering.
No, Cubs are.
So while we're waiting for Katie, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think sports coming back? So football's coming, baseball started. I think basketball started. Hockey's getting ready to start on Friday. Thank you, Lord. I feel like I'll part of my body. Do you think sports will have an effect on just people's mindset? Do you think it'll take them away from all this crap that's going on that we watch every day?
I don't know. I mean, you know what? Yes, I think to some degree I will. But you know what I've noticed? I don't know if you've noticed this, but people are getting outside.
Yeah.
And I think you've seen boat sales and camper sales and skyrocket. I think people are getting back out, and I think people are enjoying that. At least I hope they are. That's one of the things I love to do. I'd rather be outside than if I'm going to watch a game. I'd like to be there. I'd like to be in the seats if I'm going to do it. Since we can't do that, I'd rather be out camping. I don't know, but I do think for a lot of people it will be a nice welcome change that you can watch a game. Like I can't wait to watch a Blackhawks game because
I wonder if Katie puts on her cheerleader outfit and does some flips and stuff.
You can tell us that for homecoming for U of A, which I'm sad I can't go this year, but they let us cheer back on the field every year at homecoming, and so I still get thrown in the air. I still do all the flips and stuff,
cool.
and that's
so awesome.
Not this year, but I've gone back every year.
I was a big hit at Parents Weekend one weekend.
Were you?
I like one coolest dad,
coolest dad, not just a regular dad, but a cool dad.
Well, but here's the thing, I'm going to bed at 9:30, and it was 1:30 in the morning, and my kid's going, "You're still up." That's amazing. So I was partying with these guys. A lot of fun. Hey, let me ask you a question. What if we got Katie on the phone? Could you do her voice?
Katie,
can you call Mike? I don't know if you can call Mike or not, and we could get you on the phone. It might be easier than typing. And while you're doing that, I'm going to quickly go back to Katie. Wait, Katie Ann and Katie. So 2020.
2020.
Hello.
Hey, Katie Ann.
Hi, Michael.
And we're gonna try
Okay,
the
wait, yeah.
speakerphone and see if everybody can hear. Hopefully, everybody can hear you. Just share with us a little bit, if you can. I'm gonna try to turn this up just to make sure it's all the way up. A little bit about how long you've actually been in real estate. Kind of what you're doing right now. I know I gave a little synopsis, but maybe you can share that with us.
Of course. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
We can hear you. I don't know if it's broadcasting, so we'll kind of highlight it as we go.
Anybody on the show, if you can hear,
Yeah,
maybe
let us
just give a
know if you
shout
can
out
hear
if
Katie
you're
on the
okay.
phone. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, great. Well, I came from a background in physical therapy. I'm actually a licensed physical therapist. But unfortunately, I had a terrible back injury from work a few years ago. And I've had to have actually multiple surgeries because of that injury. So at that time, I just decided to go a completely different route, and real estate was what I chose. It was a pretty easy, transition for me. I've had real estate investors in my family for many years, and my husband does remodels. He's been building houses since he was 5, so real estate was just kind of an easy, decision for me to make. I got my license back in April of 2018. However, I had to have one more back surgery, and I didn't become active until I joined my home group in March of 2019. One of the first things I did was I sat in the class with Marlowe, and it was absolutely the most helpful thing I did, because starting brand new, I really had no idea. I knew I wanted to go 100%, overtime into this real estate business, because my goal was basically to replace my salary that I was making as a director of physical therapy. So I came to the class, and it really basically set me up with how I was going to organize and structure my real estate business. So the very first thing I did was I wrote my business plan, I made my goals, and I basically just picked 3 activities that I wanted to focus on. First, I wanted to focus on open houses. So I made the goal of doing at least 2 to 3 open houses a week, which I did. My first year, so from March 2019 to March 2020, I closed 23 houses.
Wow.
And basically I would say at least 70% of those were from people I met at open houses. So open houses was like
That's
really
fantastic.
successful for me. And
Katie,
then also,
Katie, let me ask you something. Are you still doing open houses through COVID?
so I've done a couple since coronavirus like shut the world down. Up until March, yes, I was still consistently doing them, at least twice a week. I've been really picky and choosy as of late. I've probably done, in the past 3 months, I've probably done like 3 or 4 open houses. And, I've just been following the guidelines, providing masks, having, of course, hand sanitizer. It's a different ball game. What I did especially when Arizona shut everybody down, I just decided, well, now's my opportunity to really focus on my database. And so that's kind of where I switched gears. And my goal for this year was already to start, I've been working with a lot of buyers, but I wanted to get more listings. So I've really been diving into my database, and it's been pretty successful as far as being able to connect with people I haven't connected with for a long time. And the conversations have been easy because for so many years they knew me as a physical therapist, and now I can have a conversation with them to check in and see how they're doing, and then just let them know how real estate's been going for me. And it leads into, oh hey, yeah, my cousin is thinking about listing her home. And so that's kind of, I switched gears from really hitting open houses hard to really kind of going through my database and reconnecting with people. So that's kind of how my business has I guess, changed since
But
coronavirus.
what I love about what you're saying is that you didn't slow down, you just switched gears. So
Yeah,
even though
absolutely.
COVID hit, you just decided, okay, I'm not going to do as many open houses. I'm really going to hammer my database, which has really obviously helped your production. The last 2 months alone have been phenomenal months for you. But I think that's a good point. Like back to the beginning of what this show, when we talked about mindset, was you decide to keep working or
It's on or off.
Yeah.
It's either it's
So,
go or no go. I mean, it can't be, well, I got 1 foot in the water and I'm kind of doing real estate. You're either doing it or you're not.
Well, and I think the funny thing is too, is like, when you work really hard, you start to get really lucky too. Like people notice that you're working hard and then those random referrals just start coming in, and I don't know how the universe works, but you know, it all kind of comes back full circle.
Gary Player,
Definitely.
Hall of Fame golfer, said, the harder I work, it seems the luckier I get.
Yeah.
So true.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah, no, I you know, there was a little bit of anxiety when it first started. You know, coronavirus, obviously everybody had anxiety.
Absolutely.
But I just definitely switched gears. I knew I wasn't gonna just like sit and do nothing. I just decided, what can I do remotely? And well, you can connect with people. And so I have, you know, just basically from the years of medical experience, I have so many contacts in my phone. Maybe I worked with a nurse, you know, for 3 months at a hospital. So I've just been reconnecting one by one with everybody in my database, which has been really awesome and really fun, and rekindled old friendships. And also I've been able to get quite a few listings and clients out of it. So it's been awesome.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
So what's a common denominator with these two women as far as their success?
Well, one thing I'm hearing is they didn't slow down.
They didn't quit.
They didn't quit. They
No, it's-
just really, you know, whether it's change directions or keep going. So that's what I'm really seeing, is that there's no slowdown. Is keep business as usual.
But Katie admitted that at first. It was
Well,
like what are we going to do?
same with Katie Ann, and I
And
think everybody did.
then all of a sudden it's like, God dang, I need
There's
to
so much
work.
business on the
Yeah.
table. Why slow down? I think the biggest thing that I'm hearing is the similarity between us. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and really the same repeat message I hear over and over again is, you know, simple and easy aren't the same things. There's a difference between being simple and being easy. Simple means, okay, if I do this, this, and this, you know, I'll be successful. Easy means I can wake up and I can actually do it every single morning. It's not easy to be successful, but it is very simple. You know, if you just do open houses consistently, or if you're just advertising on social media consistently, you know, as long as you're being consistent in what you're doing, it's not easy, but it's very simple.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I even, you know, when it shifted from being able to go out and do open houses and you know, meet with clients at their homes easier without anxiety, I didn't really want to change my schedule. So I do time blocking, and I have certain time during the day, every day, where I am on MLS and I'm searching for houses and I'm sending those out to my buyer clients. And then I have other hours during the days where I'm just hammering out my phone calls or following up with old clients, and I still have the same schedule. It's just, you know, changed a little bit just based on what's going on in the world, which
Sure.
but I never wanted to not have that schedule. And I think some people, you know, especially at the beginning, it's scary. And so when you transition, some people maybe are used to working out of the office all the time. So then when they have to transition to working from home, it does get kind of harder to manage your time. But I think, and I would just say it's best if you can try to stay consistent and keep with your normal routine, even if you're doing it from your home now instead of the office.
Let me ask both of you a question. So one of the teams that I had, for some reason, it just ended up being mostly women, and there was always concern of their safety as a woman doing open houses and showing houses, and I will never ever question whether or not, you know, whatever precautions or whatever, you know, I hear a lot of people using excuses, saying I can't do an open house because X, because. Has that ever been scary for you? I mean, what do you do to protect yourself? I mean, that's a big subject, and
It's a
I
heavy
haven't,
subject, yeah.
I have not walked in your shoes, so I don't,
Yep.
I mean, I pack, I carry,
Yeah.
and I have no problem, I'm from the south side of Chicago, I'm not scared of anything, but that's a legit question, because
Yeah.
He's a Sox fan too, so.
we're just a little tougher. So I want to pose that question to both of you, kind of short, quick answers if you can, because
Sure.
address that for me for a
Katie,
second.
do you want to start? You do a lot
Sure.
of houses.
I want to get. I want to get a gun. I don't have a gun. I do have a taser, and it will knock someone out. And I bring a taser to every open house. I have a tracking thing on my phone where my husband knows where I'm at all the time. He always knows where my open houses are, and he usually tries to stay, where he's like 10 minutes away. Other than that, I do try to bring a lender partner to most of my open houses if I can, just because I feel like if there's two people, it's safer. But I have held a lot of open houses just by myself. And, I have had one scary instance happen, and pretty much since then I've tried to have a lender partner with me, but other than that I always have my taser, my pepper spray, and my husband on standby.
So I don't have a taser or a husband, but I do have 2 guns. So
Sun's out, guns out, baby.
I will be completely honest. A big reason why I don't do open houses is because of that. I'll just be totally transparent. As much as I try to talk myself back into it and then tell myself, I'll be fine, it does play into my psyche a little bit. I think a lot of times if you can pose yourself as a more dominant, I don't take any crap from anybody kind of person, which is kind of my personality anyways, I think you can show that you're a strong, I'll fight back kind of attitude. So if I ever feel like in an uncomfortable situation, because I do still work Zillow leads. The Zillow leads are, hey, I like 123 Main Street. Can you meet me at the property now? Cool. Have no pre-qualification, nothing. It's just getting face-to-face with people first without even knowing who they are. So I do think it's important to just kind of hold your ground and have a very strong, dominant personality from the first time that you meet him. I have a super firm handshake, so I just kind of set the tone from the start. It does play into, it is a scary business. You're meeting with people all the time that you have no idea who you're going to be in a vacant home with. So I don't carry, and I have definitely considered it. But yeah, right now, it's just establishing a presence of, I know I'm a woman, but I'm not going to take crap from anybody.
It's such a big issue, and Mike and I can't comment on it because we don't walk in your shoes. Nice shoes, by the way. We don't walk in your shoes. It's different for us. So that was always something really concerned. My thing at my age, I look at you and think, if you were my daughter, how would I want you protecting yourself? I can tell you this: title. Do you have a title partner?
Yeah, absolutely.
Title lender, home warranty, home inspection, another agent that's maybe new that needs to learn. Yeah, if you can bring somebody else with you, I think there's always safety in numbers.
I encourage that, actually. When I was a lender, I loved doing open houses with agents.
That's what I did too.
Yeah, and I got to meet so many agents that way. So finding a good lender partner that is going to sit with you is, I think, one of the best things to do. The other thing is, I'll tell you, is that my best friend Jacqueline, who's a licensed agent, she's also a lender now too, but her and I mean, we crush it at open houses. So I almost enjoy doing it with another agent, even though I might only get 50% of the business, but so what? I mean, there's a lot of times.
I don't want anybody in my house. Nobody.
But there's a lot of time, and I like doing them both. I like doing it myself, but I do like doing it with another agent too, because there's gonna be times when a person may have come in the open house and they wouldn't have worked with you, but they would have worked with your partner, and so
Sometimes
we
people
got
prefer
the
male
deal
or female,
because,
they want the shy or the more outgoing personality.
Yeah.
There's
And
so many.
People walk into your open house and they got a choice between her and me. Come on. I'm losing every time.
I'll give you 25% of the commission. For safety.
Wow. Okay, so when's your team starting? I'm going to be the first person to apply. So.
But I think if you can find someone to do them with that will help with the with that feeling a little bit, but I enjoy doing with another agent, so.
So we're really up against the time here. So here's what I would tell you, and this is, so I was trained in the military to handle weapons and self-defense and first aid and all that, because I'm a veteran. You don't know if you would actually use a gun until it comes time to actually point it at somebody and pull the trigger. I've never done that. Do I think I would do it? Yeah, probably. But if you're going to carry a gun, you better have the guts to use it. So here's what I'll say as far as that's concerned. And Katie, chime in if you want. I think pepper spray is a great deterrent because you're not going to kill anybody with it, but they're certainly going to stop in their tracks. Taser, you might kill somebody with it if they have a heart condition, but that won't be your fault. Sure. So there's a lot of options. It's something that you should seriously
Safety's important.
Yeah, without question. So
I know we only got like a couple minutes, but maybe you guys could just share with the audience just what would you say
Annie Oakley just chuckled.
What would you close with? I mean, what would you, for any new agent out there, anybody out there that's just thinking about it, maybe a little bit worried, what would you tell them right now?
Katie, do you want to start?
Sure. I would just say, make a plan and stick with it. Be consistent. Try to stay positive and be yourself, really. If there's something that you're not comfortable doing, then don't do it. Try to find something that you are comfortable doing. What I've noticed most about real estate is that I never feel like I'm working, although I'm always so busy. I just love what I'm doing. So I feel like I picked the activities that I'm really comfortable with, and so it just makes it so easy, and I'm excited about it. And I think my clients can tell that I just love what I'm doing, and I just feel like that makes them want to work with me.
I love that.
So I would just say stay positive, stay busy, and find activities you love doing, and it will just be so easy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really hard not to just take everything you said and try to reword it in my own. But I think once again, going back to the simple versus easy, being successful in real estate is so simple. It is so simple, but it's not easy and it's not for everybody, and that's why the turnover ratio is so high. So once again, like Katie Ann said, you just have to pick something that you're good at, something that you like doing, and really just stick with it. Be super consistent with it, and you have to be authentic. At the end of the day, people can read if you're phony and if you don't enjoy what you're doing.
It's my favorite word.
And honestly, it's so true. And if you're genuine and you really do care about people, they'll know. So that's all I got.
The only thing I would add to that is, if you're a newer agent, don't fear knowledge, because there's so much knowledge here at the brokerage between the support center, other agents, the senior wing. There's just so many people ready to have your back. So just don't forget that piece. So if you do need anything, the company's here for you. So
I'm going to end with a punch right in the face. Okay? So here's two agents, highly successful, with no excuses. So you gravitated towards, what would you tell a new agent? I'm going to tell you that there's agents that have been doing this a long time that can take your advice as well. Okay? We're always learning. I learn every day. I learned from you today. I learned from Katie. You learn every day. Knowledge is power. And you guys both use my favorite word. Be authentic. Just be authentic. The more authentic you are, unless you're a complete asshole, or, I'm sorry, am I allowed to say that on our show?
yeah,
We don't have a beat button.
Unless
you're a complete jerk. Yeah, just be authentic. Be yourself. You have an authentic smile. I can't say anything, Katie Ann, because you're not sitting here, but I've seen you on Facebook and stuff, and you have an authentic. Just be authentic with people, and you saying that it's simple, but it's not easy. Young agents, new agents, old agents. Agents as old as Carl Eisenberg, like 170, can learn from that. It's really simple, but it ain't easy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
I am
flattered to
so
be on the show.
impressed.
That was super cool.
And thank you, Katie Ann, for on the call. We should have brought you in on the very
Thank
first minute. We should have put you on the call.
Yeah, sorry about that, Katie. We'll get you back in again. And
Sounds great.
Next week, I believe Michael Jordan's going to be on the show, so tune in next week.
George Clooney.
And George Clooney, Brad Pitt was going to stop by as well, and Kate Beckinsale, Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, and
Sounds fun.
We have an all-star cast next week.
next week is going to be really exciting. So we're way over, and Kelly's not here, so we're allowed to do this. And Kelly can't yell at us.
And we'll
so-
send her the bill later.
Hi, Kelly, and one last shout out to Annie Oakley, my title rep, Kim Hickey, who learned how to shoot in Iowa. We've got pictures of her shooting.
Also, most of the
awesome.
moving men, they're out there too. I know Emily was on the show today too. So
And we're gonna do some shirts and swag.
yeah,
know,
the Savage shirts. We're gonna.
But we
give
can't do
away.
it without Kelly here, so we're not even gonna attempt it this week. So do you know how to turn this off?
Yeah, everybody have a fantastic
Thanks.
weekend.
Go to work. Go to work. Don't let COVID stop you. Go to work. Go to work. Go to work.
Yep, stop.
Good.
But